What is up, everybody? And welcome to Primetime Carolina. My name is David LaFave. My co-host Tanner Blue is out tonight. But do not fret, world. We have backup on the way. Joining us tonight is a friend of the show and a friend of real life, Chris Simmons, season ticket holder, Roaring Riot member, and Port City Riot member. Chris, what is up? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Dave. How's it going?
Man, just enjoying this Friday night. Excited for this game coming up on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we'll get into that. Before we get going, I just want to give a quick thank you to all the new subscribers of the channel. Over the past week, we got, a little bit of a boost in followers. So I just want to give a thank you to everybody who hit that button in the past week. We started a Facebook page as well. I want to say thanks to everybody who liked the Facebook page. If Facebook brought you here, go ahead and hit that subscribe. That helps us out a lot. Appreciate everybody who's rocking with the family. So, Chris, before we start talking about the game, I wanted to talk about the event at Jack's in Wilmington on Sunday, October 3rd. The Panthers are playing the Cowboys. The Port City Riot is having a membership drive, and anyone who joins during the game will be entered to win a bucket of cold beer on the Port City Riot. Did I get all that correct?
Yes, you did.
Sweet. Is there anything anyone else needs to know about that, or is that it?
That's pretty much it, other than, just come out, wear your blue because the Panthers are wearing blue that day. Be ready for, I feel like, a good game and a good crowd and some good food and hanging out with some Panther fans at Jack's that day. So I hope it's a good event.
Yeah, absolutely. And to anybody who's never been to Jack's, the food there is outstanding. And it's a great place to watch a Panthers game. There's Panther stuff everywhere. So you'll feel right at home.
So we're going to have a special Panthers-related sandwich that day yet. I don't know the exact menu item it's going to be, but there'll be a Panther-related menu item that day.
Oh, man. Is that like something they normally do, or is that just something for the event?
It's just a special thing for that day that you make up something for us.
Man, I wish I knew that. I could send in some ideas.
Yeah, well, I talked to Jimmy about it when there's a couple of things I threw past him, and he said he liked the ideas and he too was going to do so. But he didn't tell me what it was going to be.
See, if we were like Seahawks fans, there could be like the Marshawn Lynch with Skittles on it. But I'm trying to think, are there any Panthers snacks that would work?
Well, I threw out ideas like the Port City Porker, just like I have a bunch of, different pork meats on it, or the Roaring Reuben, that sort of thing.
Okay. I like the Roaring Reuben. I like that. I like good Reuben. All right. So that sounds like a lot of fun. What hasn't been fun for me is all the disrespect the Panthers have been getting in regards building up to this game, especially from the national media. So I'm going to start right at the top of the mountain with the big question. Are we going to win this game?
Yeah.
Yes. We have a yes. I think we're going to win this game too, Chris. And I think people are really not giving the Panthers any credit for the 3-0 start that they have.
Well, you know what they all love to say, Dave? Who had they played?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, well, you can't do any better than beating up on the teams that are on your schedule, and the Panthers haven't really played a close game yet.
We played everybody they told us to play. That's who we've played, okay?
And truthfully beat the snot out of each one of them. The closest game was the Jets game, and it was really only close on the scoreboard.
Yeah, right.
The Jets scored, a couple touchdowns basically in garbage time. And, I give them credit. They made it close, but in actuality, anybody who watched the game knows that the Panthers were by far the better team in that game.
Exactly.
So I was doing a little internet scouring. I was looking at some websites and just to see what people were saying. I came across a couple of Dallas fan websites, and just the disrespect I've seen on these pages is just absurd. Look at this. CeeDee Lamb's going for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Well, and those Homer websites are one thing. When a guy that's a Dallas Cowboy fan puts stuff up there, of course, they're going to talk big about their team. They're going to go off and go, oh, we're going to destroy them. But you get the ESPN experts that are giving us absolutely no chance in this game. That's what gets me. It's like, who had the Panthers played? Who had the Panthers played? Who has Dallas played? So they put 41 on the Eagles. They also let the Eagles score 21. All right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest reason the Cowboys get so much credit is because they played so close with the Bucs. But I think people are kind of blinded by the Bucs because of all their star power and Tom Brady and this. I know they just won the Super Bowl, but if you look at the way they've played so far this year, it hasn't been all that impressive. They let the Falcons score 25. They barely beat the Cowboys. They lost to the Rams pretty handedly. So I feel like they're a little overrated, and people might not be giving us the credit we deserve for our wins, and maybe giving them too much credit for their wins.
They're absolutely, yeah. They're giving them too much credit for the wins they've had and not giving us credit for being a much better team than we were last year.
Yeah. And I think another thing that people are losing sight of is because we beat the Texans, everyone writes that off as well. You beat the Texans, you beat the Jets. I feel like the Texans have been a lot better this year than anyone expected. And I feel like they played us tough, mostly because, when McCaffrey went out, we had a really bad quarter. But if you go back to the week before, the Texans gave the Browns all they could handle. Did the Browns stink too? We beat them by a lot more than the Browns did. If Tyrod Taylor didn't go out in that game, I don't think the Browns were going to come out on top.
Very likely.
So I think people are just writing us off for beating the Texans, but I feel like no one's giving the Texans any credit. People are still sticking to that team stinks narrative that we all had before the year started.
And when you look at it like this, though, look at the other undefeated teams and look at the records of the teams they have played. They are a combined 3-9.
Right.
Nobody's counting the Broncos out, are they?
No, and the Broncos, it's so weird what leaving Charlotte does for a player, because this morning I heard ESPN radio talking. I believe it was Keyshawn Johnson. I wanted to jump through the speakers and start yelling at him, man, because he's talking about Teddy Bridgewater had no one to throw. He was throwing to nobody receivers last year. That's what he said about Teddy Bridgewater. You don't know who Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore are? DJ Moore has back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons. You don't know who he is? What are you talking about, Keyshawn Johnson?
Keyshawn's still salty that we cut him.
That's probably what it is, honestly, which is fair because, we cut him for a guy who ended up doing absolutely nothing in the NFL.
I remember he was working the draft that night and was so excited that we had got a guy from USC. Couldn't wait to work with him. And 2 days later,
absolutely. I remember that as well. He was so excited we got him. He said, we need a good young receiver. We need another receiver. And I think it might have been the next day, Chris, that they let him go.
Or 2 days later, one of the two.
Yeah, it was quick. So going into this game, the things that make me nervous about the Cowboys are the matchup advantages that you can't deny.
Right.
So obviously their strength is going to be their wide receiving core. And our weakness right now is definitely probably our secondary, at least on defense.
On defense, yeah. I'd say our biggest one would be offensive line, but on defense, most suspect would be our secondary.
Yeah. Yes. So, I don't know how much CJ Henderson is going to play in this one. By the way, what did you think of that trade?
Well, I felt like it was something we needed to do. First of all, we needed to get that help. We could give up Arnold for that position. Everybody's saying, what did he do for the Jaguars? What did he do for Jaguars? What has anybody done for the Jaguars? That's not really a fair comparison. Right. It's what we think he can do for us that counts. So that remains to be seen. But he's going to get some minutes right away, no question. So we'll see how it works out. But it's going to make definitely going to make Trimble step up and do the plays, make the plays that we think he should be making.
Yeah. And Trimble is a guy that when we drafted, you were really high on. So I
Yes.
think, he's shown in the last game, I feel like that was kind of, a coming out party for him. I feel like he made plays when he got his opportunities. The tight end room was a little crowded. He's been an effective blocker. He hasn't really got the opportunities as a receiver at tight end. So it makes sense that if you take out our receiving tight end, he's going to have to step in and fill that role. I think he's capable of doing so, but I think you can't look, past the fact that Dan Arnold was a very liked guy by the Panthers. They didn't want to get rid of him, but the Jaguars insisted on getting a tight end because they needed one so badly. So in the end, I think the Panthers can definitely – or I think the Panthers are definitely the winners of this trade. And I think this has the potential to be a home run trade, especially if Henderson can assimilate into the defense and, become the player he's supposed to be when you're drafted number 9 overall.
Exactly, yeah. Plus, we get a third-round pick out of it as well. So,
yeah, we got a 5th. They got our 3rd. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But obviously, it's going to be a tough task, a tall task for the Panthers to match up against guys like CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. With that being said, as long as the Panthers' defensive front can remain as dominant as it's been, especially Hassan Reddick and Brian Burns, and then the defensive tackles in the middle are doing a great job clogging that up and not letting quarterbacks escape, it doesn't matter how good your wide receivers are if your quarterback can't get rid of the ball.
Exactly. That's what our 2015 front seven, it's what got Josh Norman the job he got after leaving us. We made Josh Norman great,
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I don't know why this is, and I think it's kind of changing, especially the way the NFL is changing, but I think it's for whatever reason in our team history, whenever we have had great defenses, our secondaries have always been a little bit suspect, but it's been made up by a great front seven. And I think this is – say that again?
Pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you can get pressure on the quarterback, you're solid. And right now the Panthers are doing that probably better than anyone in the league, I would say.
Typically, yes.
Yeah, the statistics are crazy. I don't have them pulled up at the moment, but I know we were looking at them, I think last week after the Texans game, and it was, first in sacks, first in rushing yards, first in passing yards, first in third down percentage. I mean, this defense has just been unreal, and I think a lot of people are discrediting it for the same reason we haven't played the best opponents. I got to be honest, I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make.
I don't either.
And you know what really grinds my gears, as the famous Peter Griffin would say, what really grinds my gears is everyone discredits our Saints win like it didn't happen. But the other 2 weeks the Saints weren't playing us, they blasted teams that everyone holds in high regard.
I said this to my son the other day. I was like, they gave us no credit for dismantling the Saints. But when the Saints beat Green Bay the way they did, the Saints were booked for their Super Bowl trip.
Yeah, it's absolutely absurd. And, I get it. I understand they were missing a lot of pieces that day. But at the same time, the biggest thing that won us that game was that front seven on defense. And I don't know if the Saints were missing anybody on that offensive line. I know that for certain they had, what's his name, Pete, who's their, franchise left tackle that they just paid a huge contract to. He was out there, and he was getting beat on every play. So it's time to give credit where credit's due, I think.
Well, Dave, and you've seen this time and time again in 2015.
Yeah.
This team or that team, well, who they play? Their test is coming. Their test is coming. When they play Green Bay, we beat Green Bay. What did they say? Oh, maybe the Panthers are good. They said maybe Green Bay is not who they thought they were. Well, next they have to play Seattle. Let's see how they play in Seattle. What happened? We beat them in Seattle. Did they say maybe these Panthers for real? No, they said maybe Seattle had a bad day that day. They never gave us any credit that entire year.
No, they didn't. And you know what's crazy about that year is we made it all the way to Thanksgiving, undefeated. Before the game on Thanksgiving, we were 12-0, whatever we were. The pregame shows are picking Dallas to win. They have 3, maybe 4 wins on the season, and more than half of them are picking us to lose. It's just crazy. And I'm not, I personally like the underdog role, but at some point it's like, can we get a little bit of credit? So,
Exactly.
I don't know. And that's just how it is with the Cowboys. It never ends. That's just the way things go with them. They're always going to be put on this pedestal. And so, I get it. But at the same time, it's like before this week, after we beat the Texans, it was like I really wanted to beat the Cowboys because we could finally get some respect for our wins. But after the past, 8 days or whatever it's been, and I've been watching all these pregame shows and everything, it's like I just want to shut the Cowboys fans up. I just want to shut the national media up. I don't even care about getting respect. I just want them to shut up about the Cowboys.
I was sitting in a place eating lunch on Tuesday after that game, and you would have thought the Cowboys just won a Super Bowl. The commentators on the that's all how wonderful the Cowboys. Dak Prescott is playing the best quarterback position in the league right now, and the Cowboys this and the Cowboys that. I don't remember the percentage of the percentage they thought that the Cowboys were probably going to win the game against us was, but they gave the Eagles a 34% chance to beat us. So they probably get the Cowboys an 80% chance.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, I don't know why they're getting so much credit for beating up on an Eagles team and what was it? It was a 10-point win, right?
It was a 21-point win.
It was a 21-point win against the Eagles. Wow, I didn't realize it was that much. But still, they get a bunch of credit for beating up on an Eagles team that everybody pretty much agrees is not a very good team.
Yeah, and they let them score 21 points. They gave them 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're saying the Eagles scored 21 points. What was the margin of victory? That's what I was asking.
It was a 21-point win. It was 42-21 with the final score.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it was both. Both were 21.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Anyway, my point remains the same. It wasn't the greatest team that they beat up on, but yet everyone's, like you said, crowning them Super Bowl champions.
And if the touchdowns that the touchdowns they kept showing over and over again where Dak was doing so well, it was thrown to the tight end who was wide open. Nobody anywhere near him, standing still waiting for the football.
Yeah. And I'll say this, they are really hyping up Dallas's ability to force turnovers, which I get. You deserve credit if you're forcing turnovers. But at the same time, those 2 interceptions in that last game were horrible throws, especially that one in the end zone. And then the pick 6, he threw it way behind a receiver who fell down. So, you got to take it all with a grain of salt, I think.
After that game on Monday night, when it was just Cowboys. The Cowboys are the greatest thing ever. What's going to happen when we beat the Cowboys on Sunday? Is Monday going to turn into how great the Panthers are? No, they're going to talk about what happened in the Patriots and Buccaneers game.
Yeah.
That's it.
And in any segment that we actually do talk about the Panthers-Cowboys game, it's going to be what went wrong for the Cowboys? What did the Cowboys do wrong? The same thing as when we beat the Saints. It was like, what went wrong with the Saints? The Saints did this. Bad Jameis. That's what they kept saying. Bad Jameis came out against the Panthers, while simultaneously giving the Panthers no credit for what they did to make bad Jameis come out. He's been baller Jameis the other 2 games. It is what it is.
Bad game.
All right, Chris. So we've kind of covered the game. I wanted to talk to you about just you as a Panthers fan for a moment, okay? So you go to every home game. You told me you missed, 2 home games since the stadium opened or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So away games, you do 1 game a year?
Maybe 2, depending. We're going to 2 this.
And you just try to find, whichever one would be fun to go to, or how do you do that?
We haven't been to before, something like that. Something we thought would be fun. We go to Tampa a lot because we just like that stadium. We go to New Orleans a lot because, you're going to New Orleans. It's fun to go to New Orleans.
Right. Was it Buffalo this year that you're going to?
Tampa.
You're going to Tampa. Okay. Did you consider Buffalo? Because I felt like
we're going to Buffalo. We're going to Buffalo. We go to Buffalo, come home for a game, and then go to Tampa Bay for the next game.
Oh, okay. Cool. Gotcha. All right. So if you don't go to the game, whether it's home or away, you tend to do what?
Well, I've got this whole ritual thing that I do, and it starts the Monday prior to the game, or whatever day the game is on. I got a whole thing that I go through. Like, I have this thing where I can't touch the colors of the other team. Like when I'm writing on the board at school, if they're playing Green Bay, no green or yellow pens. It's got to be the Panther blue pen or that sort of thing. Used to have like a situation like a long time ago. I was telling my kids at school about that, and they would chase me around with the stuff that was the color. And I was like, no, I have to touch it myself. You can't touch me with it and cause bad luck. I have to touch it myself. If I accidentally touch the color, if I would go like I had a thing on the wall behind me, I'd rub that and do like this, and the bad luck would be gone, that sort of thing. But on game day itself, whether I'm at home watching it on TV or if I'm at the, in Charlotte, going to the game up there in Charlotte or at an away game or whatever, I have I got a road game toothbrush and a home game toothbrush that I use. All my like toiletries and things they're either Panther blue or at least in a Panther blue container. The razor, the shaving cream, the deodorant, toothpaste, the whole thing. It's all in that, and I do everything in specific order. I shave, take my shower with my Panther blue washcloth and my Panther blue shower gel, and then I get out and brush my teeth and do all that other stuff. It's a whole thing. And like the Panthers are wearing white jerseys, I wear white. So on Friday, whatever the last day of school is before a game, if we're wearing white jerseys on Sunday, I got to wear a white shirt to school that day. Got a specific pair of socks I wear every Friday, that sort of thing. So there's all kinds of things that I do and have to, match all my stuff together to make sure that I bring as much luck to the team as possible.
That's fantastic. So I'm glad you told me that because now I know how we lost that game to Atlanta in 2015, and it's because you touched a red marker.
Something wrong? I know I did. It was all my fault.
You must have done something because that's the only thing that could have made us lose to Atlanta that year. As good as we were and as bad as they were. So, just lost my train of thought. I know what I was going to say. You also match your coaster to your shirt, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you did. Okay. Pretty cool. Well, now
every day I'll take a picture of my beer and say, white jerseys today, and I'll have a white koozie on my beer.
There it is. That's what it is. Yeah, I see that on Facebook. So pretty cool, man. So now I know who to blame anytime we lose. So I'm glad you let me know. All right, so before we go talk about score predictions, what do you think the score will be in this one?
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be like 24-17, something to that effect.
Okay.
If it goes any higher, maybe 27-24, it's not going to be a 35-42 kind of thing, anything like that.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I can't see our defense allowing that many points, no matter who they're playing.
17 is, and I'm hurting to say that, but I feel like I'll give up 17 and be okay with it.
Yeah, you get so spoiled when your defense is really good because it's like anytime you allow like a field goal, you're mad because you get so used to not allowing anything. Yeah, I'm totally like that. I get real spoiled anytime we have a good defense. So I'll say this. I'm going to go with 27-20, I think will be the score. Maybe 27-23. But I do expect us to come out on top. I feel like we've been severely, doubted for.
So far, we have not had to come from behind. Do you think that'll be the case in this game? Will we lead from wire to wire, or will it be a back and forth that we end up on top?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the Panthers have not trailed all year, and I believe they're the only team that has not trailed all year. I would say the only way I really see it well, you know what? Yeah, I think we might let them take the lead for at least a portion of the game, because I think even in the last game we were really at risk for that.
Yeah.
All it takes is, a couple bad minutes of football, and then, you find yourself behind. And I think that's really what happened with the team in the last game. Once McCaffrey went down, it felt like they really, lost their it.
And that's the thing I really want to find out about this team is, are we a team that can come back?
Yeah. That's a good point, and I think we were really missing that last year.
8 times last year.
Yeah, I think we were really missing that last year with Bridgewater. I think Sam Darnold just brings a little bit more of that leadership, that it factor, like I just said. He brings a little more of that it to the game that I never really felt like Bridgewater did.
Right.
I think when it's time for someone to step up, I have more faith in him doing it than I ever did with Teddy. And Teddy was good enough, but he's just got to be surrounded with a great team to win. He's,
And
the definition of a game manager.
yeah, not disparaging Teddy personally in any way. Teddy's a great guy. Everyone loved Teddy, but Teddy was not what we needed to be a winning football team.
Yeah, and I agree. And it's almost like if he stuck around, we'd probably be right where we are right now, because our defense has been good and our offense has been working in a way that Sam Darnold hasn't really had to do much other than get the ball out on time to open receivers. But at the same time, this is the type of game where that might change, and we will need someone to step up in bigger moments. And it could be the game where we really find out what Sam Darnold's made of, especially without Christian McCaffrey out there.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. All right, Chris. Well, thanks for joining me today, man.
Glad to be here.
Is there anything you would like to share with the world before we go?
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. That's right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you on Sunday. We'll do another episode probably sometime next week to go over the game. Appreciate anyone who's still here, and keep pounding.